What is good, defenders, and welcome. It's the night before a match, so you know what time it is. It's time for one more sleep, and this, although it's early in the season, is a big one. That's right. It's the second leg of our CONCACAF Champions Cup first round match against Colorado Rapids, and we know what happened last time. So let's go through all of the important numbers, all of the important facts and figures so that you know when you get to BMO Stadium tomorrow for this CONCACAF Champions Cup first round match that you know what LAFC needs to do in order to survive and advance. It was just 1 week ago that we headed up to 2-degree weather, 3-degree weather, 5-degree weather, whatever it was single digits, but it felt like negative temperatures with the wind chill up in Colorado, beautiful Commerce City in February, to a packed, I tell you, Dick's Sporting Goods Park. There were several thousand people watching that match in single-digit temperatures with the orange ball, snow flurries everywhere. And you know what? LAFC didn't look very good. We didn't look very good until our backs were completely against the wall, and Aaron Long saved our bacon, at least for the moment. If you're a vegetarian or a vegan, he saved your tofu. Whatever you want to save, he saved it. And it was a close one. LAFC losing the first leg 2-1, but it's the one that's the important part, not necessarily the two, as we head back to BMO Stadium for the second time in just a couple of days. Heading back down 2-1 is so much better than heading back down 2-0 for one simple reason. The tiebreaker, for the first tiebreaker, I should say, for the aggregate score is away goals. And we got an away goal. So it's very, very simple. Here's the math. If LAFC wins the match 1-0 at home, that means we level the aggregate at 2 goals apiece. However, we move on into the next round because the first tiebreaker is away goals. Colorado will have 0 and we will have 1. So if we win 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, it really doesn't matter. But as long as we keep a 0 in that Colorado column tomorrow, we are good. We just have to score 1 and we move on. And obviously, if it's 2-0 or 3-0 or 4-0, we win on the aggregate anyway, so it doesn't matter. However, when we give up goals, it gets complicated. Winning this match 2-1 does the same thing that they had by winning their match 2-1. It levels us at 3 on aggregate, and it levels us at 1 apiece in goal differential. So we will have some extra time. We'll have some overtime rules, and then there'll be some PKs. It'll be crazy. So we want to make sure that we settle this one 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0. However, if we do give up goals, again, that's where it gets problematic. And if we win the match 3-2, even though the aggregate would be level at 4 because they would have 2 away goals, they would advance. The first tiebreaker is away goals. So even if we win the match 3-2 tomorrow, we actually lose the first round and they move on to take on Columbus. So the bottom line is this. LAFC needs to either keep the score sheet clean and win 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, or if we do give up a goal or goals at home, we have to win the match by 2 or more. It's very simple. If we win by 1, but we give up 2 away goals, we go home. Very simple. Our CONCACAF Champions Cup run is over. We don't have to worry about that trophy for the rest of the year. We can begin to concentrate on things, like winning MLS Cup, the money grab that is Leagues Cup that they still want us to take seriously. And heck, maybe maybe if we flame out early on CONCACAF Champions Cup, which I don't think we will, and I'll tell you why in a second, we can, I don't know, defend our Open Cup title that Don Garber says we don't get to defend this year, which is the stupidest thing in the world. Don Garber, we won Open Cup and now we don't get to defend it. Dumb, 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 and dumb. However, let's talk about LAFC against Colorado at BMO Stadium. You guys, if you thought our home opener streak has been great, our streak against Colorado at BMO has been so much better. We have played them 7 times at BMO Stadium, Bank of California Stadium, whatever you want to call it, in our club's history. And in those 7 matches, all we have done is go 7-0 and absolutely dominate the Colorado Rapids every minute of every single game. In fact, we have outscored Colorado at home 21-2. 21-2 in our club's history. 21-2. That's a plus 19. We haven't given up a goal to Colorado at home since 2021. That was when our man in the chat, Carlos Vela, who says they need me back, that was when Carlos Vela was still on the team, all the way back in 2021. We are absolutely dominant against Colorado at home. And this is a club, I mean, they beat us pretty bad on the final day of the season a couple of seasons ago. They've had our number at different times and different points throughout our 7-year history, now 8, but it has not been at BMO Stadium. It has been an incredible run against Colorado at BMO Stadium, 7-0 with an aggregate of 21-2. But Steve Cherundolo doesn't believe in streaks, and neither do I. Colorado will be coming in smelling blood in the water. All they have to do is get a goal to make our life really, really difficult, and we will absolutely see their best. Now we got Denis telling us we're good. Don't worry. More on Denis in a little bit too. I love the chat. We got Carlos Vela, Denis Bwanga. We've had all kinds of royalty, LAFC royalty in the chat. Look, this Colorado club played just a couple of days ago, just like we did. But I got to be honest, they looked terrible. At St. Louis, they did not look good. At St. Louis, it was a 0-0 draw. They used most of their starters for the full 90. I was very surprised to see them use most of their starters for the full 90. Heck, when we asked Steve Cherundolo in the press conference after our last match against Minnesota, he said, look, the reason why Jeremy Ebobisse got the start up top was because of Tuesday. And I'm sure the reason why maybe Marlon got some extended minutes, the reason why a couple of other guys came in a little bit earlier than they might have normally was because of this CONCACAF Champions Cup match on Tuesday. But that's not how Colorado played it. Colorado played it with their starters for almost all 90 minutes, with the exception of Kevin Cabral and Josh Atencio. And so, you know what? I like our chances going in. Colorado, I love you too, Jose. Colorado managed just 2 shots against St. Louis, none of them on target. They looked objectively bad. I watched the game after the fact. They looked terrible. So they will be looking for a bounce back performance. And look, if they bounce back against us at BMO in CONCACAF Champions Cup to advance to play the defending champion, or excuse me, the a year ago champion Columbus Crew, blah, we all know who the defending champion is, blah. It's going to be a huge feather in their cap. I just don't see it happening. We know what to expect from the Rapids. Rafa Navarro is a load up top usually, and their best pure goal scorer. Cole Bassett still looking to take the next step in his redemption story of coming back from an overseas run that didn't work. Josh Atencio is a nice addition to their midfield, coming over late in preseason. And yes, Zach Steffen will keep them in most games this season. And oh, by the way, in case you're wondering, Reggie Cannon started and played the full 90 against St. Louis. We all watched Reggie Cannon come off the pitch after taking that awkward challenge, or kind of, it looked like almost a non-contact injury. Reggie Cannon was good to go less than a week later. I don't know if Reggie Cannon will be ready to go for a full 90 against Denis Bouanga, but his knee seemed healthy enough. If he's good to go, he gave Denis Bouanga fits last match for most of the match. So we'll see what happens. And yes, Texas Soccer Net, I am not writing off Cole Bassett. I'm just saying he's still looking to take that next step. But you know what? We know all of those guys. What we don't know is who we think the players to watch are going to be. And I have to say, after last match, after our performance in beautiful 70-degree weather against a very game Minnesota United, who, look, I'll be the first to say we probably should have lost that match at home against Minnesota United. They had the bulk of the better chances. And if we don't unlock something with Jeremy Ebobisse late, I think we're in a lot of trouble in that match. We should have been down 1-0 or 2-0 or maybe even 3-0 relatively early in that match. So we got lucky, but once we figured it out, what we saw again this season, 2025, the Ocho, season 8, is how difficult LAFC is to beat once we get on top, because then we started generating the better of the chances. Dare I say we should have had 2 or 3 more goals in that match, but it doesn't happen unless Jeremy Ebobisse comes through for us, which was absolutely massive. But that being said, who are the players to watch on our end? Well, let's take a look. My player to watch in this match for LAFC, very simply because of the way that he performed in the last match at BMO against Minnesota, is David Martinez. David Martinez, when he is right and when he feels like he can go, is an absolute load. I mean, you heard Taylor Twellman's reaction on the broadcast when he uncorked one early on. I believe it was like 17th minute or so. All he needed was a little hint of daylight, made a couple of moves, a couple soft touches. His touch looks a lot better this year than it did last year. Talk about a kid. I mean, this kid's barely 20 years old yet. I mean, this kid is going to be for real. David Martinez, I really like what he was able to do in taking on that role of a player who maybe takes on the extra defender. Absolutely loved the way David Martinez took on the extra defender, like Kike Oliveira used to, like Matty Bogusz looked comfortable doing at several points last year. If David Martinez, the teenager, can still get away with taking on several defenders, I mean, he is going to be special. I think that the addition of Mark Delgado, Gerardo Rios is talking about it here in the chat. Let's take a look. Oh, we got Ryan Hollingshead. We got friend of the show, Ryan Hollingshead, in the chat as well. Ryan, hello, my friend. It's good to see you on here. Thank you. Your defense was very, very good, and you led our team in touches against Minnesota with 107. You passed at 94% accuracy, and you were absolutely incredible. Let's go back to Gerardo's comment here too. If we find Delgado more often on the lateral switch, he helps make things happen. There were a few times he was wide open and no one picked up their head for the easy switch. Something to watch. I like that point, Gerardo. Very, very good. And I think, look, what we have seen already from LAFC, and you might see this in my keys to the match in just a minute, Gerardo. What we have seen is us be able to possess the ball pretty well so far this season. My player to watch for Colorado, if it's not broke, I'm not going to try and fix it. Djordje Mihailovic put on an absolute highlight reel performance against us a week ago. And I definitely believe that Djordje Mihailovic is going to come in with all the confidence and all the comfort in the world. So I am really looking forward to the reason why he's my player to watch isn't just because he put on a laser show against us last week. It's because I'm looking forward to seeing what Steve Cherundolo does and the chess game that he's going to play to try to take Georgi Mihailovic, if not out of the game, to be able to take away some of his options so that he doesn't look as good as he did against us just a couple of days ago. Olivier says he's scoring in the chat, which I think is fantastic. We got Olivier, we got Ryan Hollingshead, we have Denny Bawanga and Carlos Vela all in the chat tonight. It has been absolutely on fire here. Thank you guys all for coming. But look, David Martinez and Georgi Mihailovic, my players to watch. But here's the important part. We need to close out space a lot better. For my first key to the match, if you all got to watch Kelvin Yeboah roam free at times for Minnesota United, you got to circle one guy out there and say, this can't be the guy that beats us. Maybe some teams don't have that one guy. Maybe they spread it around too well. But for Minnesota United, that one guy was certainly Kelvin Yeboah, and we left him all alone several times, and he even got a good look in stoppage time at the end where it could have been 1-1 at the death. So what we need to make sure that we do, and Ruben Rios kind of puts it in a different way with his defend, we just need to close out space on these guys. Let me remind you, we did not give up a goal to Colorado in the run of play. They scored the goal because I talked smack about Kevin Cabral. They scored a goal off of a Kevin Cabral drawn penalty kick. That was obviously Georgi Mihailovic going relatively down the middle, while Hugo Lloris, who was just trying to stay warm, dove to his left. So I don't fault Hugo for that one as well. And then the absolute top bins, the beautiful free kick, goal kick off of what was a relatively silly foul in a bad spot, also from Georgi Mihailovic. We did not give up a goal in the run of play, mainly because both teams were completely frozen, but it was pretty interesting. I really loved the way we played them against the run of play, but not obviously the way that we gave up a couple of goals on set pieces. Though, look, you're not going to stop either one of those goals most of the time anyway because of the nature of what those set pieces were. So we need to make sure we close out space. But what we also need to make sure that we do is possess with a purpose. We possessed the ball 62% of the time against Colorado. In Colorado, we passed it relatively well with 88% accuracy. In fact, we've been passing at 88% accuracy over the course of our first two matches. We completed almost 600 passes against Minnesota, and even in the cold weather, completed over 500 passes against Colorado the first time. But it's about possessing with purpose. And what I don't think we've done as much, at least until we scored, until Jeremy Abobasi scored against Minnesota, what Steve Trundler's now in the chat. What I think that we need to do earlier on is create some of those chances that we saw off the foot of maybe Marky Delgado, which was great. I really like what Marky Delgado has been doing for us so far this season. Hopefully he's won all of the haters out there over that said, you know what, because he wore a Galaxy Herbalife sash for a couple of years, I can't be on board with Mark Delgado. All he's done is put in the work over these first two matches, even against Club America. And I absolutely love Mark Delgado. But yeah, we need to make sure we possess with a purpose. We have been rarely dangerous over these first two matches while the score was level, or obviously when we were behind. So while it's important for us to possess the ball, we need to figure out a way to get dangerous a little bit quicker than we have this season. I will get to a couple of the questions in the chat in just a little bit. But for right now, I'm going to give you my score prediction. And my score prediction is simple. I think LAFC absolutely comes out and takes care of business. I think Denis Bawanga is going to be a little bit more selfish than he was against Minnesota. As much as he was trying to feed Olivier Giroud and keep him rolling, I think that what he is going to do, or get him rolling, I should say, not keep him rolling. I think what he's going to try to do is on that break, he's going to make the extra move. He's going to attack the defender. He's going to attack the keeper, and he's going to take the extra shot or 2 or 3 or 4. We know what David Martinez is capable of now. We saw it against Minnesota. We need to see it against Colorado, against a very experienced veteran backline. Keegan Rosenberry, Reggie Cannon, they both played very, very well against us last time out. And unfortunately, Reggie Cannon is back and looks like he's ready to go. Chidozie Awaziem, I thought, played really well for them as well. They're going to have to stay defensive. But again, they don't need to score in order to move on. So they might play 4 in the back. They might play 5 in the back, which we saw from Minnesota. They don't need to score in order to win. And I absolutely agree, Alberto. We got to get some more progressive passes going. Denis Bouanga says he's going to score both of them. So that's very, very, very important. I would look for Rafa Navarro for the Colorado Rapids to be much more aggressive than he was as well. I thought he was relatively passive in the game, didn't get a lot of great service. Cole Bassett didn't have particularly a great game as well. But I would look again for Georgi Mihailovic to continue to be the engine for that Colorado Rapids club. But I absolutely love the way that Igor Jesus has been playing. I love the way that Marky Delgado has been playing. And our back line has looked solid. I'll be perfectly honest. Aaron Long is one of those guys that now he has the captain armband, so you're going to notice him maybe just a little bit more because you tend to watch the captain a little bit more. But all Aaron Long has done for the last 2 seasons or so, all he's done is play incredible lockdown defense for his entire shift out there. I think Aaron Long has been our most consistent defender. I think Sergi Palencia has been our best defender over the last season and now a couple of games. And I think all of that leads to continuing the narrative that Colorado at BMO, at Bank of California Stadium, whatever it's been called, it's a house of horrors for the Rapids. I think we extend the aggregate to 23-2 against Colorado in our time against them at home. I think we extend the streak to 8-0-0. And I think we move on to face Columbus Crew in what is going to be an incredible match. We get to reunite with Diego Rossi, and it is going to be an awful lot of fun. It's been a great chat with Hugo Lloris in the chat. He has now just joined us as well. Tony, absolutely love you, buddy. Thank you for joining the chat as well. Everybody, Ruben, you guys are always the best. Want to answer a couple of questions that were in the chat for sure. First and foremost, how many fans do I expect tomorrow? Will we see empty seats? I mean, I'll say this. I think that LAFC has played 103 games over the last 2 seasons, 53 games in 2023, and 50 more games in 2024. And I do think that sometimes with all of these extra tournaments, especially with how expensive some of these seats tend to be, I think that you do get some fans who might be a little disenchanted. I think you get some fans who might just be broke. And I totally get that. I mean, it is not easy to afford these tickets for Leagues Cup, for Open Cup, for obviously CONCACAF Champions Cup, for a friendly against Club America that they charge full price for. It's difficult. So I don't know if we'll see a ton of empty seats, but I do know that at the start of the match, at kickoff, it'll probably be a little light in the stands, but I think that once it's also a work day, it's a Tuesday. I don't get off work till 6 o'clock, so I'll be getting there dangerously close to kickoff time. So will many of our supporters out there because, work is work. You got to work. So it'll be really cool. It'll be really interesting to see what the stands look like at the start versus what they look like in the beginning. What's up with the new Turkish guy? That would be Cengiz Under. Cengiz Under, as far as I know, still is getting up to speed with everything. He is the type of player who's good enough to be able to put out there. And look, if you need an extra goal or something like that at some point, he's as good of a weapon as we have off the bench as anybody else. Although I absolutely love the two-headed monster of David Martinez and Nathan Ordaz. I think Jeremy Abobasi has obviously shown himself very well over the first couple matches of the season. And we're going to try and keep that Olivier Giroud train rolling, even if we have to push it from behind all the way down the track. So I don't know. I don't know the next time we see Cengiz Ünder, the first time we'll see him. Haven't heard anything yet. That's for sure. And then questions about Carlos Vela. Unfortunately, no news on Carlos Vela just yet. He was at Media Day doing things for DoorDash, but that's all that we have heard. And again, Carlos Vela says in the chat he's recovering from injury and maybe expects to sign within the next 2 weeks. So you heard it right there from Carlos Vela in our chat. There it is, folks. And then my thoughts real quick on the new USL League One team, I think it is, Pico Rivera. That'll be pretty cool. It's always fun to be able to have professional soccer in your backyard, whether it's AV Alta FC, which is starting up, whether it's Pico Rivera's team. Honestly, we have a perfectly good second division squad 13 miles down the road in Carson that we can watch from time to time. So that's always fun too. Either way, I think it's going to be a really fun match tomorrow. I think we're going to see Colorado's best. I think we are going to see the typical LAFC defense that we have come to know and love over the last season plus. And I think we're going to do everything that we need to do to move on, to defeat Colorado, and to play Columbus Crew. I think it's going to be 2-0. I think Denis Bouanga will absolutely get one of the goals, if not both of them. And I think that we are going to, yet again, make the final of this CONCACAF Champions Cup tournament. I really do believe we are built to get going earlier than we did last season. And I think this is going to be a deep, deep run that I hope for the first damn time out of 3, if we make the final of the CONCACAF Champions Cup, we might as well just go ahead and win the damn thing. So let's go get it. You guys in the chat were absolutely amazing. I love all of you. Thank you so much. I realize I barely looked at Instagram, but all of you that are there on Instagram, I promise to do better next time. I promise. But yes, as they said on Instagram, all the true fans will be there, even if there are a few empty seats. My boy Ruben coming through with the notifications, with the comments to make sure that you like, you subscribe, and you turn on notifications. You guys, we absolutely love any and every way you access Defenders of the Bank, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, all the different social media accounts, however you listen or watch our podcast. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And again, if you're listening to this on the way to the match, tell me what you think. Get at me in the chat. Hit me up on all the social medias, LAFC_the scarf. Let me know what's going on. Absolutely love you guys. You are the absolute best. And Giorgio's in the chat. We will see you guys tomorrow at BMO Stadium. Giorgio, I miss you. Oh, my man. Either way, you guys, you know how we like to end each and every one of these things that we do. Bye-bye.